Pictures last night of a friend of mine to Michael, and I said, this is the guy I was talking about. I have a dear friend who just sold his company for several $billion. His company is cardboard boxes and packaging, right? He's not terribly passionate about cardboard boxes, but he's very passionate about hunting all over the world and his private plane and his 18 homes. He's passionate about his life. Each and every one of you, what is your passion, and how can you create the business that will support that passion? And your talent. For me, passion came from anger. My talent, I was a CPA, am a CPA, and I had a lot of publishing experience, so I could combine that. But most of us stop there. And I want to challenge you, have you stopped there? Because we've taught in school to do it on our own. You do it collectively and they call that cheating, right? In the world of business, successful businesses have come together and have the right team around them. And so the important thing is take it outside yourself. Find those right associations, just like Bill and Freddie and I have come together to create this opportunity to work with you together. And taking action. At the end of the day, the only person responsible for your success is you. And then we almost went to print with that. And I said, there's still something different about the people that we interviewed. And these are people who, when other people were going out of business, they found a way to make it through the difficult times. And it was because they had faith. They had faith in themselves. They had faith in what they were doing. They had faith that it was needed and necessary. And they had faith that they were providing a service. It gives you the motivation when I say that every business solves a problem or serves a need. When you remind yourself of that every morning, that gives you the encouragement and the inspiration to get up, because it takes it outside of yourself. And it was that faith that they had that kept them going through the tough times. Most of us, that F is fear. And it's like a doorstop. We want to kick that doorstop out of your life so that you can create the success you deserve. And that is by making sure that you are not your only asset. Many of us, you exchange your time for money. We want to take what's up here, your expertise, and create the business around it that allows you to create income-producing assets. Assets create income. They become your employees, and they work 24/7, and they never need a vacation. They never complain about another employee. Assets generate revenue. When I talk about assets, what kind? Businesses, that's what huge topic we're talking today. Real estate, paper, which is stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and intellectual property. Everybody do this. Everybody do this. Come on. Okay. Your expertise we talked about earlier is right here. All right? You have the opportunity to create assets from what you already know. It's easier than ever before. Now, when we talk about assets, you have things right now that probably could become assets. And if you think about Airbnb, it's providing that service for people, right? My husband, a few years, when we first got married, he said he wanted a survival property. And so we've been looking for them 10 acres somewhere where he could go shoot his guns and not everybody complain about it, right? Well, we were looking and we found this place, and it was 300 acres and 40,000 acres of the national forest. So we both fell in love with it. But I said, well, we need to make it an asset. I want everybody to say the word asset. Asset. Freddie already told you it's my favorite word on earth, quickly followed by royalties, but that's okay. Asset. Say it again. Asset. It is the sexiest word on earth. So say it sexy. Assets. Yes. You want assets that aren't you getting out of bed, right?
Right.
How many of you could have a few more assets? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It's up to each of you to, is that showing up there? Okay. There's stuff going on your computer up here. Assets. So I said, okay, honey, we want this ranch, we fell in love, but we have to make it an asset. So what you see on top are cows, right? I see assets. Those mama cows give me a baby every year. And a year later, they each give me $1,000. I like those kind of assets, and I love those little babies. So we have a guest lodge. You can come go horseback riding. You can stay there. You can sit out on the porch and have a glass of wine and go fishing. You can go hunting. All because we wanted to make sure that we invested millions of dollars in this property. I said, I have to walk the talk. I want you all walking the talk. So we had to turn this into an asset. Exactly. Okay. Bill. So, excuse me 1 second. A momentary break. They're trying to connect you to the internet. Okay, here we go. Now, Cash Flow Quadrant, our second book. How many of you read that? Perfect, okay. It talks about your mindset, how we think about money. And I want you to think about this as it applies to you. Employee, self-employed on the left side of the quadrant. That's what school teaches us to do. That's you exchanging time for money. That's you only 7 days a week and 24 hours in the day. There's a finite amount of income that you can make. Now, that's what school prepares us for. Right side is as a business owner and investor, it's your money working for you. A business has systems, so you're using other people's money, other people's time, other people's resources. Where do you play? Now, as I look at this, I make money from all 4 quadrants. I'm an employee of my own corporation. I'm a speaker, and sometimes I get paid for speaking. Today we're doing this as a collaborative effort to support you. Right side of the quadrant, I have multiple businesses, and we have multiple investments. On the right side, your income potential is infinite. And we are here today to support you in moving more and more to the right side of the quadrant. How many of you would like to do that? Say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right side. It's not a political comment. So I want you to look at these because these are the types of income. Left is you exchanging time for money. And there's nothing wrong with that kind of income. But it makes you tired. On the right side, these kinds of income make you free. How many of you want to be free? Yeah. And so I want to talk again about intellectual property because in the programs that we're going to offer you today, we're going to help you build your businesses and select, but we also want you to be part of the solution on how to create fast revenue. How many of you want fast revenue? Yeah. So in your business, you probably have people asking you the same question all the time, right? You get the same question and you have the same answers. Intellectual property is the wave of the future. Now, 40 years ago, 17% of Fortune 500 companies were intangible assets, intellectual property is part of that. The rest, bricks and mortar. Today, Fortune 500 companies, 84% intangible assets. Think Airbnb, Uber, right? Their value is in their brand. This allows us to level the playing fields. It gives us the opportunity to compete with the big boys like never before. Because our intellectual property can stand right side by side with the ability to use the internet, to be able to market it, to be able to have those powers of association and those intellectual property. How many of you have thought about writing a book? Let me see. Okay. How many of you have a book? Fantastic, okay. Well, I want to challenge all of you to think about it because it's never been easier to write a book. It's never been easier to create revenue by publishing a book. So I'm going to give you a little data about the publishing industry because Bill has a system to help you write it. I have the system to help you get it published. And it's very important, we talk about it in 3 Feet from Gold, to make sure you're seeking counsel, not advice. What's the difference? Well, counsel is from someone who knows what they're talking about. They've been there, done that. Advice is usually blood related to you, or in the elevator, or in the Uber. They're going to give you all kinds of advice. Counsel is what you want to seek. So I challenge you to think about how you can take what you know and share it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of publishing expertise. Is that all right?
Yeah.
All right. I happen to have a little background in publishing, so it's important to allow you to become the authority in your field, to have that demonstrative evidence of your expertise. It also gives you something to sell. And then creating the business around that allows you to create back-end programs, back-end coaching, mentoring. All of that is what you can do to create fast income within your area of expertise. Now, the old model was basically a dinosaur, right? Back when I started, you wrote a book, you begged for a big publisher to want to publish, right? And they would do it. They had to get to the bookstores and sell it to the bookstores. It was almost a 24-month process. And you were lucky if somebody wanted to pick you up. It's not that way anymore. You know, today, print books still outperform ebooks, but audiobooks are coming up very quickly. How many of you are audiobook fans? Fantastic. I recommend, yes, this is serving, but Outwitting the Devil, the audio is incredible. I made them hire 2 actors. It's an interrogation of the devil. It's the devil with this grovelly voice. And it actually has helped us achieve what we wanted to, and that was bringing the teachings of Napoleon Hill back to the younger generation. But at the end of the day, we're down to 5 big publishers. I've worked with them all. If you want any information or talk to me about it later, I'm happy to talk to you about that. But there are lots of things to think about going with a big house. They pay for everything, but they're very difficult to work with. They own the copyright in perpetuity, all right? All of those things. And I have stuff, you can take pictures if you want to have this information. I'm not going to go through every bullet point. But it's important for you to understand what's right for you. When I work with people in publishing their book, everyone has a different answer, because I look at what you want out of your life, what you want for your business. And so one publisher may be the right solution for you, a different one for you. And so it's understanding that and making sure you get the right kind of counsel. And many celebrities, even just a few years ago, going with self-publishing or a small boutique publisher you were considered a loser, right? Substandard. Well, today, many top celebrities are choosing to go that way because you have more control. All right, I've worked with all 5 big houses. I've had a lot of success in publishing. My newest book, which is going to be out next year on selling your business at a profit, I've got a new publisher that I love. As a joint venture. I have total control. And through them, I now was picked up by Inc. magazine. Pretty cool, right? But it's not one of the big publishers. But it's a fantastic process for me because I get a much higher royalty. I have control over it. When you're with a big publisher, you have to buy your own book. Think You Grow Rich for Women. I have to pay $7 for my own book. I can't stand that. But that wasn't under my control. That was the foundation. So ask yourself, making sure that the book is a tool and a model within your entire publishing strategy, how you build your business, how you market it. All right? And so self-publishing has a lot of advantages, and it's much more respected today than it's ever been. But you want to make sure you're getting counsel, not advice, because one of the reasons I do this now is I get really mad because there's a lot of companies out there doing seminars and webinars to get you to publish your book in their system, but their system may not be the right one for you. So again, make sure you're getting counsel based on what your needs are. There's so many different choices. And I'm going to show you the top 10 self-publishing platforms. Normally I don't give specific advice, but for those of you looking at this right now, number 1, KDP is the way to go. They control 80% of the ebook market. You go with them exclusively and you get access to their marketing platforms. All right? So there's a lot of noise, but in this case, there's a simple solution for you if you want to do ebooks. So let me ask you, if you have an ebook on Amazon, what do you think your price should be? 90 cents? 99? $9.99. Anybody else? $1.99? Okay.
30 cents.
30 cents, okay. So I will tell you in a moment, you're going to know more than most people in the publishing industry, and probably 95% of the people out there teaching it. And it's criminal if they don't know this. Which royalty would you rather have, 70% or 35%? And at $2.99, you get a 70% royalty. $2.98, $1.99, $99. So which one do you think you want? Where do you think your price should be? $2.99. And most people don't know that. People out there getting paid to do seminars don't know this. Now you do. And that's the importance of making sure you have the right people that you're working with. Obviously, you have a launch program that you have to when you write a book. It's the system around the publication, all right, that creates. The book is just a tool, it's a product. You have to create it so that you bring in the right partners, the powers of association. When I launched Think and Grow Rich for Women, guess who did the launch party for me in New York City, Manhattan? Bill Walsh. He wasn't in the book. Well, he was. I highlight him at the end of the book. He's one of the men who helped support other people. But he was there to support me and all the women in the book. Round of applause for Bill. He walks the talk. Freddie walks the talk. And I can tell you, I walk the talk. I want to support each of you in creating success in your life. But then you need to make sure that your marketing plan is not just for the launch, but for the ongoing success of your business. And this is not just for publishing, this is for whatever your business is. You need to understand how to make your business successful, sustainable, scalable. So eventually you can be saleable. How many of you would like to create generational wealth? You see, who's not raising their hand? Generational wealth, yes. You do that by having the right counsel, the right systems. In publishing, a lot of people say, I'm an international bestseller because they, for 1 hour, got to the level on Amazon. All right? There's a big difference between an Amazon bestseller and a New York Times bestseller. In 1 second of arrogance, there aren't too many of us. Rich Dad Poor Dad was on the New York Times bestseller list for 7.5 years. Only superseded by the Bible, which that's okay. Yes. So understanding what you're doing, how to do it, and how to create the success that's sustainable for you. It's kind of like a three-legged stool, right? You've got your product, your service. This isn't just about books. This is about your company, what you do, your ability to communicate. In this program, we're offering you, giving you some speakers opportunities for speaker training. But in order to be successful, you need the business around it, the platform. And what happens in real life? People don't have the platform. And what happens when a three-legged stool has one short leg? Not anything good. And so that's what we're putting together in the program we're sharing with you today, because you need to have a business that has the essential components. You need to have the right legal foundation, the available resources, the relationships, communications, and marketing. Now you notice at the very top, a really tiny spot, is your deliverable. That's the sexy thing you want to talk about, but you need to bring in the right people to build the organization around it. And it's all held together by your mission. What is your definition and what's your purpose? What problem do you solve? What need do you serve? That creates the success of your company. And leadership, your ability to lead. And that's what we support you in. Freddie is brilliant at teaching leadership skills and supporting you, bringing out the strength of yourself, leading from within, as well as leading a team. Your team is so important. Power of association. Say association. Association. In this room today is someone who can help you make another $1 million. How many of you believe that? Yeah.
Come on now.
You notice I said another $1 million. Does that feel good? Yeah, just think about it. Another $1 million. Oh, doesn't it make you feel stand up a little tall, sit up a little taller? Another $1 million. Well, why don't we add another zero? Okay? Yeah, all right. It's up to you. What do you need to do? Take action. Say it again. Action. Understanding that it comes together to create who you are. Your personal success equation. We're asking you to add us to your power of association to support you in creating the success that you so richly deserve. Who are the people you hang out with? Okay, what quadrant are they in? Because this is what we want to support you. Bill and I and Freddie live on the right side of the quadrant. We want you to move over there with us. Everybody okay?
Yes.
Are you ready to move?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're ready to get the moving truck for you. When Bill talked to me about putting this together, the three of us, he said, Sharon, I want you to add one of your programs. And I said, okay, well, I have three specific, they're actually all college courses. And I said, well, why don't we just give all three of them? And he said, oh, okay. So as part of this package, we're going to have all three courses. And the first one is the Play Big Movement, which has 21 series. These are not like an hour-long course. These are like college courses. Some universities are using them. And one of them related to the essential components of a successful business is my husband and me together, because he is an IP attorney. And we are the ones who built 3 global brands, The Talking Books, Rich Dad, and Napoleon Hill Foundation. You think we might know a few things about building businesses? Yeah. So we want to share that with you. And then we have the Money Mastery course. Now, many of you may not think you need that, but it's a way to get financially free, get to that break even. If you don't specifically need it, then you probably know somebody who does, and you can share it with them. And then the Play Big course, and that's how to understand how to put exponential results. How many of you would like to have 500 times your income next year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I just got an email last week from one of my clients, and she says, I just got finished with my accountant, and he says, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Because her income had increased 500 times. That's what we want you to have in your life. And that's the Play Big Movement. Again, 21 parts, the video series. So this is not a little course. These are big courses, and I want you to have all of them as part of the package that we're going. And then I said, you know, Bill, I want to add some more of me into this program. So I'm going to have some live calls and Q&A with each of you. Is that okay? Because I want to get to know you better. I want to invite you to be part of this, the group that we're pulling together, the Success 360. And you know what's exciting? This is all brand new. We had the first event yesterday in Phoenix. This is the second time. So you guys can be the ground floor of what we're creating and support that. Yes. And then I have go even deeper into publishing, deeper into telling your story. And then I have his own book on how to write the book, how to market it, and how to present it, how to speak from stage that can enhance what Bill's training is going to do for you. And then I have a digital, this last one, kind of an afterthought I threw it in. It's $8,000 worth of coaching. It's a audio series where I interview some of the top experts who helped me along the way to get where I am. You think that might be beneficial? Yes. Talks about estate planning, running a family business, blood and money. Sometimes it's like oil and water sometimes. So we talk about how to strategize and move through that. And so I want to support you in creating success in your life. How many of you think that I might be able to help you along the way? Yeah. Well, just think about Freddie standing here, me, and Billy. You think the three of us might have something to help you?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. So I want to thank Bill and Freddie for inviting me to be part of this team. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the future, and I invite you to be part of the groundswell with us, because we are here from a point of service. The package that I'm throwing into this is valued at $7,500, and you're getting a ton more, and you'll hear about more from Bill. at a very, very reasonable price. So thank you, and I'm going to call Michael back up. Thank you so much.